So
Hmm.
if probably I would say, oh, I want to strike at this person, and you choose the option, I want to protect this specific person, then it's crossed out because I'm acting
Right,
toward
right.
this
You
person.
cancel
You're
it. Yeah,
protecting,
right,
so the person is protected. But if I'm choosing different results, then we both can
right, right. You
hit
kill this
the
person,
different.
but you take
Yes,
this. You take this thing. Right,
yes.
right.
It's kind of similar to what a burning wheel
Yes, with
with
its
the
script, its
fight
scripting. Yeah,
contest.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. I see. That's
and
actually kind of interesting. I like that. Um, Now, of course,
so
how that determines the outcome of the battle as a whole is another question. And then it also brings up the question of how does that relate to individual actions that
mhm.
can't affect the battle but are important to you, like staying alive. If you're not like the battle person, you're no good at the war. You're not doing the war.
So Apocalypse World says, okay, if you have got a gun, you can use it as a weapon. Um, and a bigger gang beats the smaller gang, so it gives +1 harm and it gets +1 armor. So it's a huge difference. And there is a rule. So if you're a PC and you're fighting in a gang, then you're treated as a normal person in a gang, unless if you're protecting yourself, so you're not fighting um, like others do, then you're treated as for the gang rules. So it's kind of interesting because it's in this case it is not um, it doesn't depend on your on the character's abilities, but on the commander abilities. So
Right,
it's
right,
a choice
right.
whether
Hmm.
you what your brother choose. Um, what else? I found Mouse Ritter.
Right.
So it's like battles between warbands and warband scale creatures function the same as fights between small individuals. So you're using the same rules, but the attacks have a bigger scale. Like if a mouse wants to fight with a cat, then a regiment of mice is needed to
Right.
to fight on an even footing, right? Mm, I know there is Savage World mass combat rules, and it's like for specific advantages you get points, and the other part gets for those two, and you're like kinda rolling for with an advantage for those. So
Hmm.
you're basically counting. Okay, we're on a better terrain. We have more people. We have something, 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 and you're like adding those to the number and then rolling somehow.
Hmm. So actually, this is all really useful. Because there are a few of those examples I don't know very well at all. And it also occurs to me that I need to go and find my old photocopied uh, version of the original Flashing Blades, um, which some of you may recall, because I'm certain that they had battle rules in there. Yeah, Alan, if Herman were here, we know Herman would go, "Oh, Flashing Blades," right, and pluck it off the shelf. But you're the next in line for that possibility. So,
I have flashing blades, but it's on storage, on
uh-huh.
off-site
I
storage.
see.
So
Okay. Um, so yes, we will have to. I'll dig out my binder wherever it is and see. Um, Alexander, was there something else that?
Um, yeah, I got two other examples which are kind of weird. So you said about those games that don't have a specific rules for battles, but they have means to do battles per the normal rules, and those would be um, one example is Blazing Dark and Band of Blades. So it would be a fortune roll. Like my group has tire something, plus a better position. They have like greater effect, and this group has like this kind of tire and lower position. So we roll them against each other, and which part is better, then we um, either fill the clocks, which character will, for example, crush the other or push them back. So we are making a fortune roll, and who's better, and then we are narrating what's going on in the background. And the second game that we could use, it would be a conflict in Dogs in the Vineyard. Like it would be a normal conflict per normal conflict rules.
Right.
Like, um, do I get the objective, or
Yes.
will we
Dogs
get
in
to
the
the
Vineyard
river
is that's a good example. Although what's interesting about Dogs in the Vineyard is that there's a sort of, I don't know if the word cinematic is right. There's a fictional convention in Dogs in the Vineyard that once the framing of the conflict is set, then you can't have like other people jumping into it. So you would take it and you would resolve the battle at its scale as its own conflict. And
yeah,
that would be that.
but
It's not a
but
criticism, it's just a feature that it would be hard to play individual actions running around in the battle.
it would be like different conflicts. So
Yeah.
one conflict would be about the battle, and the other conflict would be whether my character will survive the battle, for example, or
Right.
will my character do something specific, and if they do, it will be like a bonus for the
Right.
main.
You would probably hold the battle roll till the end and see
Or
whatever little things occur in it.
or you could also use this person as a tool, because my character is super good in fighting. Then she counts as the 8 to your
Right.
battle
No, that's
roll.
absolutely correct. You can do that certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Dogs in the Vineyard is a lot like Sorcerer, I think, in which you can basically fold the two scales of operation in a fairly seamless way together, and just use the ordinary rules of ordering conflicts and actions without too much trouble. The idea that everybody on a side might actually have to take the fallout from a lost roll, along the way, comes to mind. That
Yeah.
I don't know if there's rules. I don't think there are any explicit rules for that. On the other hand, it's so intuitive there may not have to be any. So
There are actually rules for that. So it I think we would use the rules for the killing conflict. So let's say if I want to kill your character and I win the conflict, then it's kinda you're killed. This means that
Right.
I hit you with an axe, so you get the 48 damage.
Right.
So now you have to suffer fallout and
Right. No,
probably
I get that. I've played the game a fair amount.
yeah.
So I know that rule. What I was thinking of was if this person is not out to kill the character, what they're out to do is to win the battle. And let's say they take a failed round, right? And so they have to take the blow and gain some fallout or any number of things, any ways. So the point is, who actually suffers that fallout? Is it just that person, the commander, or could any number of people who weren't involved in that roll mechanically, or maybe they were providing a die or something, right? They could be subject to that same fallout. So the failed round will hurt them, not you, for example.
It's kind of possible.
Yeah.
It's like
it's possible. I can see it.
There's something like if you're trying to hit my character and my friend is covering me, then you hit them.
Right.
And
Right.
probably they're dead, or
Right.
like
No,
you
I think
get a die
I
for,
think
or
the system in dogs would actually be pretty useful for this. Much very it is, of course, sits Dogs in the Vineyard sits on the bench along with Burning Wheel and along with the Riddle of Steel and a couple of other games. They all sit, the Sorcerer and them kind of all sit in the same section, in the same seating arrangement. So I'm not too surprised that you could do that. I'm actually thinking of Burning Wheel without any special rules would also be very interesting for this. Just using the rules as written, whether you could actually conduct battles with just the ordinary system with individual actions being embedded in it without any difficulty. No procedural difficulty. Boy, you got me all interested. Now I want to play Dogs in the Vineyard again. Now I feel like it all of a sudden. So anyway, so these are anyone have some closing thoughts? We've kind of, first of all, thank you very much to Alexandra for running off to the research, but in the midst of it. But any other thoughts on this? I mean, I think we all find it potentially exciting to have characters in the midst of this, even without romanticizing military or group violence. But it's certainly a situation people are in.
I was just thinking the game of designing Empire, Dragon Lotus. Everything is so abstract right now. Anyway, everything is so abstract in the game that you wouldn't necessarily even have you're doing a thing and there's a battle. The battle would be the thing that you're doing. Would be the thing you choose to play
Right.
that setting. So it would be a case of assets and blessings and all the various things involved it's abstract, but I wonder if abstraction is satisfying or not. I guess we'll find out. But
it's a very difficult question. If you want the battle to set the context for other actions, or if you want to have other actions affect the outcome of the battle, either way, then that has to get folded into the procedure for those other actions. I think it can be done, but it sounds like it falls in the same category of what Alexandra and I were just talking about. But getting to a finer grain with some of your roles in your game is something that you and I need to talk about. Definitely. So anyway, I'm ready to stop because, school night, everything else. But how are you guys doing? Any further thoughts before we close?
I have one.
Yeah.
Is that, the relationship of battles and how they turn out based on character action also applies to games that attempt to recreate factional competition.
Yeah, politics for sure. Yeah.
Politics, Dune, I was thinking of in particular. I've longed for a long time to have a functional way to work that out.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that's geez, how many games do I have? I think you even have role-playing games that are even named things like Faction War and stuff like that, because we're so interested in this. But often, the range of rules for that is out there, but I don't have, as I say, I don't have a role-playing library in my head or an experiential range of functional mechanics in my head like I do for so many other things in role-playing. Relationships, damage, energy management. I mean, any of those things, I can give you a nice solid framework of how it's been done, the holes in how it's been done, when I think it's exciting, when I think it's extraneous, how it relates to other aspects, how it relates to character advancement. I can do that for all these other things just like that. I can't do it for the battles. So it seems like something we can be developing through time, talking more about it. Maybe we should try some of these games with those very features and actually conduct them and have it be a dialogue of play for a while. All right. Well, folks, I guess that's it for me. I don't want to cut anybody short, but I don't want to fade on you. So good night to everybody. So,
Thank you
Thanks
very
for the
much.
thanks for joining
Good
me.
night, everybody.
Take care.
Good night.